And so I started writing the book to basically be that thing that I was Googling for when I was depressed, when I said, how to cure, how do I cure depression? I literally Googled that. Mm-hmm. And I began the book as the answer for somebody, like the thing that I was looking for when I was depressed.
Yeah.
And it lays out in an easy to follow form the steps that if you follow them, you have the same kind of journey that I did in the same order. But
and tell us also, you put a chapter or so in for the Hay House.
Yeah, right. So I got it's going to sound like I'm a total sucker for every promotion that comes into my inbox, but that's not the case. I think I'm pretty good at picking, I have to say. I've been able to actually implement most of the stuff. This was a Hay House writers workshop online. It was like a worldwide online writers workshop thing. And I signed up for it. I thought, oh, that'll get me going back on my book again. And so I started doing it. And one of the come-ons for it was that they have a contest at the end of the year. And you write a book proposal, you submit it, and the winning book proposal gets a contract with Hay House. Mm-hmm. So I thought, well, that sounds really cool. And then as I started to watch all the videos and read about it and everything, it became clear that you need a platform. Does everyone know what a platform is? You basically need a ton of followers, a ton of people that will buy your book.
Yeah. So not just the newsletter list, but Instagram
or followers on Facebook followers and Instagram and people that that follow you on Twitter and Tumblr and all these different things. And I didn't have that, and so I just thought, okay, well, I'm not gonna enter the contest. It's fine. And then, but I was getting a lot out of. I recommend it, actually. I was getting a lot out of all the videos and learning a lot and seeing some amazing people I'd admired for a long time. Like Marianne Williamson and people like that, talking about their books and being fabulous, just being themselves and learning so much about them, but also discovering new people that I'd never thought Doreen Virtue was anything that I was drawn to, and I loved her. She was fantastic and so articulate and smart and everything. So I was getting a lot out of it. And then one day, I got an email, one of their emails that said, Reed Tracy, the CEO of Hay House, is going to do a live, I think, hour and a half call-in kind of a thing, and he's going to take questions. And I had to paint a door in my garage, and I thought, I'm going to listen to that. So I was listening to it, and somebody asked, I guess I'm not going to apply for the thing, the contest for the book proposal, because I don't have a platform. And he goes, oh, wait, no. For the contest, we don't expect you to have a platform.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, hang on. Well, that's different. That's not what and he said, look, of all the thousands of people that take this workshop online, he said, only like 300 people actually bother to do a book proposal and submit it every year. So and he said, and to put it in perspective, Hay House receives about 200 submissions a month. And he said, whereas this workshop, writer's workshop, it's only about 300, and all the editors at Hay House read them. We don't outsource it. He says we don't outsource it to some personal assistants or something. The editors actually read them all. So he said it's an amazing opportunity, and I'd made the decision right then, well, I'm doing a book proposal. And it was 6 weeks before the deadline. And it's hilarious because my book was 99 pages long at this point. 6 weeks later, I had finished my book proposal, and it was 65 pages long.
Really as long as your book so far, yep. And so the result was you came in?
I was the first runner-up. So the person that won was someone she's a big media personality in Brazil who does crystals. And her book was about crystal power and crystal energy and everything like that. But I came second. So I didn't win a publishing contract with Hay House, but I did win a big $10,000 publishing deal with Balboa Press, which is that self-publishing label of Hay House. And And I thought that's so cool that an EFT, a tapping book, because Nick Ortner was the only tapping person. And I think Margaret Lynch, I don't know if she was with Hay House at the time. But anyway, I just thought, I was so thrilled that I thought this really says that EFT is coming a long way. And then I found out 2 months later that both Dawson Church and Peter Stapleton have Hay House books coming out about tapping.
I know. So get yours out quick.
I know. No, it's great. When one person has a book come out and it does well for tapping, it helps all of us because suddenly there's a category. So this isn't a case of, oh, it's been done. It's a case of, awesome. The world is becoming educated about EFT, and now they'll know to tap in. Oh, I went about EFT for depression, which is what my book is. And my second book is called, which I won't even say. No, I got to finish the first one.
I didn't know there was a second one.
Yeah, the second one, I've already been doing case studies for it. So, and one of the things that I do in my book, I've got the stack of journals like this thick from just that year and a half when I was depressed. So when I was obsessively journaling, just trying to kind of process it. What I've done is in the first chapter of my book, I tell the story of what led up to the depression and all the factors and everything like that. The second chapter is the actual description of the depression and what I was doing to get through it. And what I do throughout the book in the steps, as I outline the steps that I lead people through to process and to work with their depression using EFT, is at the end of each chapter, I've pulled from my journals as relates to that story and actually showing you how I tapped. So I don't necessarily have tapping scripts, but I show people how to write really effective tapping kind of scripts for themselves, which ultimately is, I think, so much more powerful. But then that's the way I do it, is basically say, I kind of go, well, this is the story, the story of what I went through. Here's how that story translates into tapping. Mm-hmm. So that you can take your story and translate it into your tapping and customize your tapping for yourself and get at your core pain and core issues and all that stuff that's underlying the depression. Mm-hmm. And I also sort of deal with, there are different kinds of depression, and I acknowledge that. And there's a kind that it's been shown that you don't really get very far with tapping unless you're on antidepressants. There is a kind that's like that. I didn't have that kind, but for that kind, EFT has actually been shown to help, but you need to stabilize the person with antidepressants and then wean yourself off the antidepressants as the tapping sort of chips away at the underlying emotional stress underneath the depression.
Mm-hmm. So would you like to start screen sharing and showing stuff? And then if anyone has questions, they can put in a question into the chat box. But we'll let you screen share and.
Well, first I'll show the first few minutes, the first minute and a half of the Science of Tapping film. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Imagine a big curtain going like that. Right. Here we go. Let me get this out of the way. Okay.
This is a laboratory in Carlsbad, California, that tests hormone samples for a variety of organizations. In 2014, while performing tests for hormone levels in saliva as part of a triple-blind study, they had to have their equipment recalibrated twice because their measurements didn't make sense. They'd never seen such drastic reductions in before and after levels of the stress hormone cortisol, and they assumed their testing equipment was malfunctioning. It wasn't. So what had caused cortisol levels to drop 24% in just over an hour when they had never seen anything affect such dramatic change? Tapping.